I'm Dr. Ariel Humphrey, and today I'm going to talk to you about technological ethics from the standpoint of the law and dialectics. First of all, we need to define technology from a legal standpoint. I'm going to give you a legal definition of technology that we find under US law. Under the US Code, technology is defined as modern information, computer, and communication technology products, services, or tools, including the internet and other communications networks, computer devices, and other computer and communications hardware, software applications, data systems, and other electronic content, including multimedia content and data storage. So the main question when studying technological ethics from the standpoint of the law and dialectics is to determine how we can adequately regulate modern technologies and their designers, developers, and owners at each stage of tech development projects, meaning from pre-design, design, production, distribution, operation, and post-operation in case of damage inflicted by the technology itself. So how can we regulate those modern technologies through enacted laws and regulations so that such developed technologies and their related business models produce less unethical effects? By unethical effects, I mean less unfair, less unjust, less wrong, and less harmful. For instance, biases, prejudices, discriminations, addictions, depression, anxiety, quasi-enslavement of agents, immoral automated use of personal data, etc. Those effects on users, agents, and society as a whole can be unethical, toxic, unfair, unjust, wrong, or harmful. So how can the law make them less harmful, less toxic? In order to answer this question, I'm going to adopt a dialectical approach to ethics-based laws and regulations applicable to the following items. First, applicable to modern mass distributed technological products, such as artificial intelligence-based technologies, but also those laws and regulations applicable to the developers, designers, owners, users, and consumers of such technologies, and also to the human agents in charge of physically operating such technologies and in charge of executing such technologies, which are more or less AI-based and more or less automated for the benefit of consumers. Then, in order to answer the same question, more broadly, I'm also going to rely on an old framework of analysis established by Professor Mario Bunge in 1973, based on the following two hypotheses, which are that tech law and regulations are constituted by mutually opposing components, and their evolution is the result of a tension between opposites within the social systems that include the law of interpenetration, the struggle and unity of opposites, and the law of resolution of opposites' contradiction. Secondly, Mario Bunge also put forward the law of quantity, quality, transformation, which governs the shaping of the body of tech law and regulations. Now that we've laid out the main question that we are going to answer together, we first need to define tech law from a sociological standpoint and in a dialectical way. On the one hand, tech law stabilizes, maintains, strengthens, and reproduces the existing technological, socio-cultural, symbolico, economic, normative order. For instance, by protecting tech owners' ownership and distribution rights over their tech products, by helping maximize profitability, and by protecting the integrity of technologies against human abuse. And thus, tech law rejects social or ethical innovations and reforms for the sake of stability and consistency. On the other hand, tech law is also socially and ethically innovative in the sense that it empowers the transformation of the operation of society's normative orders and promotes social and ethical innovations and reforms by regulating or restraining the development, distribution, and use of technologies in reaction to the society becoming increasingly structured and regulated de facto by the expanding automated and digitally coded software architecture powered by tech hardware and transnational networks, which constitute an invisible regulatory force that governs codes of social conducts. We are describing a tech-dependent regulation and a transformation of society which modifies collective human conducts, and this regulatory force, this invisible regulatory force, is intangible, it is cognitive, it is dematerialized, and it is digital. Then, tech law also regulates and restrains the development, distribution, and use of technologies in order to protect users, agents, and society as a whole against harmful impacts caused by tech products, impacts on human health and physical integrity, and on social cohesion by deepening inequalities within society. Also, tech law aims at protecting users, agents, and society against individual and collective fundamental human rights violations committed by corporate, government, tech owners, and their more or less automated and AI-based machines. On the other hand, also, tech law imposes social and ethical obligations on corporate tech owners, institutional tech owners, and government tech owners at each stage of tech development projects. Now that we've defined tech law from a sociological standpoint and in a dialectical way, we can come up with first answers to my initial question. To make it quick, to answer that question, basically I would say that in all national legal systems throughout the world, there should be legal obligations to perform multi-stakeholder participatory techno-ethical impact assessments for any new technological development projects, even at pre-design stage until launch of the product on the market, and even afterwards when and if the technological products inflicts damages on the users, the consumers, the agents operating it, etc. Second, all those national legal systems throughout the world should put in place a comprehensive legal framework establishing corporate and government ethics-based tech accountability and transparency. Thirdly and lastly, there should be in all legal systems throughout the world adequate liability and insurance regimes for tech-inflicted damages.